Hi, thanks for being in a new video. This time I have the iPhone 15 with me and I'm going to tell you what I liked most and least about it after I tested it. So, as always, let me tell you, don't buy the iPhone 15 without watching this video. Let's consider its launch price, which in Mexico is $19,499. There is no doubt that it is an expensive device, and that is why we are going to demand everything we could demand from a device of this price. Remember that this is a brief summary of the best and the worst, but I also have the full review in case you are much more interested in knowing it in depth, so you can see what things it has and what things it doesn't have. Let's start with what I like the most. There are a lot of colors available. This aspect may be considered very irrelevant for many people, but in reality it always comes in handy to choose your favorite color, and here we have a very good variety. But then, if you're going to put a big case on it that covers the whole design, this becomes irrelevant. So, consider what you're going to do. Its IP68 certification against water actually withstands up to 6 meters deep. This is important because despite having the same certification name, it resists much deeper than other devices that have IP68. Others resist up to 1.5 meters, but this one resists up to 6 meters and therefore could have a much better chance of surviving in case you happen to drop it in the water. The screen has very good features like True Tone and XDR. This in practical life experience comes in handy because True Tone allows you to have a white tone very similar to the white tone you have in the environment, unlike other devices that might cause the screen to look too blue or too yellow in certain environments. And the XDR feature also allows you to display photos very realistically, because if you took a picture and there was an area with a lot of lighting when you display it, that area of the screen is also going to emit more brightness, and that causes it to be a much more realistic photo. It has an automatic portrait feature. This means that if you took a picture and did not select portrait mode, then you can select portrait mode and even select where you want the focus to be, as it automatically captures depth information. This type of feature came for the first time in this generation of iPhone. Selfies come out very well with good detail and the pictures are 24 megapixels. Don't be fooled into thinking that if your Android device has a 48, 50 or 64 megapixel camera, it will take better pictures than this one. Definitely, on those devices in automatic mode, the photos are 12 or 16 megapixels at best. But on this device in auto mode, the pictures are 24 megapixels, and definitely the level of detail is completely superior to what you can find on any other device in auto mode. When recording video, the experience is very good, the quality is perfect, very good colors, and even the zoom slider is extremely comfortable, and the change between the ultra-wide camera and the main camera is almost not noticeable. As you can see, video recording is one of its main strengths. Even recording against backlight and at night, the performance is exceptional. It also has very good stabilization when recording video, even applying zoom. And it has cinema mode, both front and rear, to blur the background. So you can record with a very professional effect, and honestly, of all the devices I've tested that include a similar effect, the iPhone is still the best. And finally, it has Find My, which allows you to locate your device even though it's turned off. In addition, you can lock it remotely and it will be much more difficult for someone to use it again in case you have lost it. But let me tell you now what I didn't like. Your screen is 60 Hz. I don't know if Apple thinks this is 2008 or what's going on. But in the Android world, you're going to find devices that cost very little money and have 90 Hz or 120 Hz screens. And this device is stuck at 60 Hz. This means that animations are not going to look as smooth or as fluid. As much as the operating system is perfectly well optimized, the difference is immediately noticeable. If you want high-resolution Bluetooth audio, you perforce have to use AirPods, as Apple does not include other codecs like aptX, LHDC, and some others that headphone manufacturers build into their devices. So I insist that if you want the most advanced audio, you perforce need to buy Apple headphones. On front portraits at night, you have a lot more noise than we would like. This is getting a bit trickier, but being such an expensive device, it's noticeable that that amount of noise should be less. Also, in front portrait shots, it doesn't keep objects in focus. That seems a bit inexplicable to me because we have to consider that it has a detection system in facial recognition, so it could perfectly keep in focus some other objects that are at our same distance, and it doesn't. The ultra-wide camera does not have autofocus. so it does not allow you to take macro shots. At this price point, many devices that have an ultra-wide camera are going to have this autofocus feature to also allow you to take this type of highly detailed close-up shots. It does not allow you to take raw photos. This is a feature that Apple reserves for Pro models, but that is inexplicable because this device has exactly the same capabilities that a Pro model could have, but because it doesn't have Pro in the name, Apple inexplicably takes away the raw shooting capabilities. The zoom is very bad for the price range. It lets you go up to 10x digital, which doesn't sound bad, but for the price range there will definitely be many more devices with better zoom quality. While you are recording video, it does not allow you to turn the flashlight on or off. This is a feature that may sound very irrelevant to some users, or especially if you have lived in the Apple world all the time, you will be used to this, but in the Android world there are much cheaper devices that do allow you this simple feature. If you started your recording in a well-lit area, but then went to a dark area where the light is already insufficient, it's natural that you can turn on the flashlight, but this device doesn't allow it. The fast camera is only in Full HD and doesn't let you manipulate anything. Again, it just so happens that in the Android world, fast cameras can go in 4K, you can tweak manual settings and set many other things. So Apple has lagged far behind in this feature. It does not have features like secure folder, app locking, and other security-focused things. Again, in the Android world, you'll find a lot more capabilities in this regard. It's not able to run processes in the background. That to me is maddening because if you put uploading some files to your cloud or you're downloading music on Spotify, you can't switch apps because if you do, it's going to completely pause that process. In the best case scenario, when you go back to the app, it's going to resume, but most of the time when you go back to the app, you realize that it actually cancelled completely. They do this to further optimize the battery, but definitely for me it is something very desperate. It has only USB-C 2.0. In this price range, we could demand something much more advanced. This means that if you want to use this port to transfer data, it will be at a very low speed. It doesn't include charger in the box, it doesn't have reversible wireless charging, so there are definitely a lot of things this device could improve on. But if you already bought it, let me know your experience. Tell me if you've always used iPhone and you're very happy, or if you were using Android and decided to try the iPhone, what did you think? Tell me absolutely everything in the comments. For the moment, we have reached the end of this video. If you liked it, you know you can tell me. And we'll see you next time.